Hiya folks, it's Kellen here from Nile Fly Shop. Today we're going to be tying another fly. This one is going to be for Pink Salmon. It's a handlebar variant that we just came up with. It doesn't really actually have a name at the moment, but let's come up with a good name here. Let's call it the Nile Creek Shrimpenator, why not? So we're going to tie this fly on a Tiemco 93-94 stainless steel number 8. Very popular beach fly hook, especially for the pinks. So what we got here, the thread we're going to use is UTC 140 and fluorescent chartreuse. We'll start by doing a nice base layer of thread on the whole length of the shank of the hook here. We're working our way to the back of the hook. There we are. Trim off the excess of the thread there. Now for the tail material for this particular fly, I like to use pink fish hair. Very common, found everywhere. Now we don't need a big bundle of it here, we just want a nice little selection of some fibers. Yeah, about that would be about good. Cut her off. Now we want the length of the tail to be a little shorter than the whole shank of your hook. So yay long. Secure it down with a thread, trim off the excess. Okay, from here we're going to add a couple pieces of crystal flash. I'm using a light pink crystal flash material. Just 2 strands is all we're going to need. Take the scissors, pick a couple strands out. Come on, there we go. There we go, there's our 2 strands. Cut them free. And with these 2 strands, I'm going to double it over our thread. It's doubled over, lay it on top of the fish hair, and secure it down with some thread. Now, you notice it's quite a bit longer in the tail. We just want to trim it just a couple mils longer than the actual tail itself. We want that flash to be longer, but not too long. And there we go. From here, we're going to add the shrimp eyes, which makes this fly so deadly. And what we're using is a new product from Stonfo. They are called Plastic Eyes V-Type. They come in all different colors. Today we're going to be using the chartreuse green. They come in orange, black, clear. Those are the 4 colors that are available so far. The way I like to get it off here is I just give it a little cut here at the back of the little post. You can see that. And then just bend them off right at the eyes. And here we go. Now we got a set of eyes here. Tie them in. We're going to lay it right on top of where we tied in our tail and flash. And we're just going to do some nice thread secure wraps. Just tie in that whole back stem piece that we got there. Make sure you put a few good wraps over top of it. You don't want it to get pulled out or fall out when you're fishing this guy. But by doing that, you're going to notice that it's created quite a bump or a step here by the hook and the shank. No big deal. We're actually going to use that bump for our advantage for creating the head. And you'll notice here I'm just doing another layer of thread on the hook shank to help build it up a little bit, so that's a little bit closer to the step there. There we go. Bring the thread back to the back of the eye, to out there, and now we're going to tie in straggle string to help create the head. So we only need a piece of 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, just like so. Tie in the straggle string. Advance the thread just in front of that bump that we've created. And now wrap that straggle string nice and tight. Nice tight close wraps to each other. Over that whole entire bump or step that we've created there. Nice and tight. And now when I get to the bump here, I like to create I like to go over top of itself a little bit more to help fill in that gap that we've created. And there we go. It's filled in. Secure the straggle string. Give it a trim. Now I'm going to advance the thread all the way forward to just behind the eye of the hook. There we go. And I'm going to tie in standard material that you always use for handlebars is pink Lazer Wrap. It comes in a big sheet, cut them into small strips like so. Mine's already pre-cut, ready to go. I like to cut just a little bit of a tapered angled cut into the end of that for securing it down, and I'll show you why. So I start it just at the tip, nice couple good thread wraps, and then I like to pull it nice and tight, stretch it out, make sure it's nice and stretched, and secure it all the way back to where that bump was created. Then you want to advance the thread back up to the eye of the hook, and we're going to do the same thing with some mylar tinsel. Now this mylar tinsel is the standard stuff you see around in all the fly shops. It's gold on one side, silver on the other. Same idea, we only need a couple inches. Now, it's really important when you're tying this in that you realize that we want the silver side facing out. So that means our first initial tie-in, we want the gold facing us. So tie that gold facing out towards us. Pull it nice and tight just like you did the Lazer Wrap. Secure it in there. There we go. Now I'm advancing the thread back to the eye of the hook again. And now we're going to start wrapping the mylar tinsel, making sure silver side's out, nice and tight. You want to pull that as tight as you possibly can without bending the hook or pulling it out of the jaws of the vise. Nice and tight. All the way up to the eye of the hook. There we go. And we'll secure it down with some nice tight thread wraps once again. There we go. And cut off the excess. Same with the Lazer Wrap. Lazer Wrap, pull it nice and tight. Nice close wraps, making sure there's no bubbles or gaps. Now you'll see how that silver mylar underneath the pink handlebar material is really making that pink shine out and stand out. And that's what you're looking for. You want to get these guys' attention as they're swimming by. There we go. Now we're just going to secure that Lazer Wrap down with some thread here. There we go. And we're going to trim off the excess. Now when I trim off the excess, I like to make sure I pull that nice and tight so that it cuts as flush as possible. And there we go. Now I'm just going to kind of create a little bit of a chartreuse green head here on this fly, just to finish her off. There we go. And now I'm going to do about 3/2 inches to secure my thread. 1, 2, and the third. Trim off your thread. Add a little dab of Zap and Gap. There it is. And there's the Nile Creek Shrimpenator. Sometimes I like to take the eyes and give them a little bit of a bend upwards just to give it a little bit more of a look. There we go. And you can see how I bent those eyes up there. Pretty cool. The Shrimpenator. Alright folks, that's the fly. Happy tying, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.